Welcome to day one of the Jessie Sewalong. Today's all about preparation. We're going to download our pattern, print it, cut out our fabric, and do a few test stitches. Once you purchase your Jessie pattern, you're going to receive two emails. One is the purchase confirmation email, and the second is a link to your downloads. Click the link in the email and a new page should pop up that should look something like this. Click the Download Now button and your pattern will download to your device. Unzip the file and then open the Print at Home pattern into Adobe Reader. This pattern has layers, meaning you can turn on and off certain sizes and only print the sizes you intend. To do this, click on the Layers icon on the left side of the page that looks like a stack of papers. And then click on and off the eyeball icons next to the sizes, only leaving the icons on the sizes that you want to print. If you intend on blending sizes, just print those sizes. Once you are ready to print, click the print icon on the top of the page and your printer pop-up box will appear. You want your pop-up box to look something like this. You're going to print at actual size or 100%, have the orientation at auto, not portrait or landscape, and that should center it in the middle of your page. The pages are 7 by 10 inches, so it will be centered on an 8.5 by 11 inch. Now it's a pretty good idea to go ahead and print one page first. That way you can print it and check the 2 by 2 inch box on the first page just to make sure that your settings are correct. Once you've checked that, go ahead and print all of your pages out. Now to put your pattern all together. You're going to need some tape, you're going to need some paper cutting scissors. I also like to use a paper cutter to speed up the process, but that's completely optional. Start by cutting the right and top margins off of each piece of paper. Since I'm using the paper cutter, I do this in stacks of about 5 and it makes it go a lot faster. With the pattern pieces all trimmed, it's now time to tape them together. You're going to place one over the other, matching the gray circles and the outlines and taping as you go. If it would be helpful to have a visual, you can check the template that's in your instructions. Now cut out your pattern pieces. I'm cutting view A, so I will cut the length on the designated cut line for that view, so just notice that in case yours looks a little bit different. The fit on the Jessie is super forgiving, so you shouldn't have to do a bunch of adjustments, but you might want to lengthen or shorten it. There's a lengthen or shorten line on the pattern piece, and I'm going to show you how I shorten mine by 1/2 inch. First, you're going to cut along the length and shorten line. Now draw a line 1/2 inch above the length and shorten line. Now take that bottom portion that you cut off and tape the top edge up against the line that you just drew. And that's it. Make sure that you do the same thing to the front that you do to the back so that they match. And if you want to lengthen your pattern instead of shortening it, it's just the same thing but in reverse. You'll be adding length instead of taking it away. Now let's cut out your fabric. You can use the recommended layouts in your instructions as a guide, or like me, just be creative with what you have. Be sure to clip all your notches, including the half notches that are cut on the fold. Because the seam allowance is only 3/8 inch, don't clip your notches longer than 1/4 inch. And just as a reminder, pattern pieces 1 through 3 are to be cut out of the main fabric, whereas pattern piece 4 is to be cut out of the ribbing. The last thing that we need to do before we start sewing tomorrow is to check our stitches. Grab a piece of your main fabric that's big enough to fold in half so that you have 2 layers of fabric to sew through. We're going to make 3 stitches. The first that we're going to try is the stretch stitch that is on our sewing machine. If your machine has it, it's going to look like a lightning bolt. It's number 9 on my Bernina machine. Go ahead and stitch from top to bottom so that you can see what this looks like and how your fabric and your machine handles the stitch. If your machine does not offer a stretch stitch option, or if you just don't really like the look of it, this is what I would recommend. Choose the zigzag stitch on your machine and set it to a width of 0.5 millimeters and a length of 3 millimeters. Both of these stitches are going to allow your fabric to stretch a little bit while having the appearance closer to a straight stitch. Every fabric and machine is different though, so you're going to want to practice these and adjust the tension and your settings as necessary for your fabric. Lastly, if you plan to use a serger to sew some of the construction of your Jessie, be sure to test that out by sewing the 2 raw edges together. And that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll come back and we'll just start sewing because we have everything prepared and ready to go.